Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to some EVE Online and welcome back also to Jita, the major trade hub in EVE Online, because in today's video I want to talk a little bit about an upgrade to the contracts window that CCP, well, I guess you could say sneaked into the game, because I was not aware that they had deployed this on TQ. I did see a tweet about it, but I really was expecting this change to the contracts window to only come with an next release or something like that. It's a really helpful change. I feel like it's basically a little bit under-announced by CCP, because this will counter a lot of scam attempts when it comes to the Abyssal modules, and it will help players a lot time-wise when they're looking for something specific in the contract. So if we do a search for Abyss, then we can show right away what this is about. You just hover over the contract with a single item, and there you go, you get the tooltip with everything that has changed. So here, for instance, we can see right away that a large shield booster has been changed with increased activation cost, increased activation time, increased CPU usage by quite a lot, but less power grid and more boosting capabilities. So this is really awesome. Right away here, for instance, you've got a Dreadgorista's medium shield booster that is better on 3 fronts and worse on 2, costs a lot more CPU, and then it's up to you to decide on the price. Someone is asking 5 million for it and 60 million for a buyout, for instance. So this is really an awesome change that was requested, I think, even before anything was actually announced. With the very first announcements of the Abyssal modules, and that they would not be tradable on the market, people have worried a little bit about how this would impact the contracts. But I must say, with these tooltips, this feels a lot better. If I would then, for instance, let's see if I can do something that would be useful. 5min Abyssal microbe drive. Can I just like shift click that for a search? I have to press show info. Now let's see if I can drag that around. Yep, there we go. So if we're looking for search all 5min Abyssal, you know, you can look for that very specific item. And here, for instance, look at that. They're asking for 1.1 billion, but you can see right away it's an A-type 5min micro warp drive that has been upgraded. It just costs more cap to activate, and it's better in CPU, max velocity by quite a bit, less power grid, and signature radius penalty is also minus 14%. You can clearly see that this is an awesome item right away. The one thing that I was mostly worried about is that, for instance, someone would create half a dozen or 2 dozen 5min Abyssal micro warp drive, have those be complete crap, and still try to put them up there with those 700, 500 million ISK prices, just to hope for something like a misclick or something like that. And what you would have had to do if this tooltip was not there, you'd have to go to show info. No, you'd actually have to go to show the contract, and then here you would have to do a show info on the module, and that's where you would be able to see, let's see here. Now you could see that the activation cost is better, that the signature radius penalty is better, and max velocity bonus on this one is a little bit worse. So a lot of work, a lot of time, and definitely opens up the possibility of some really bad contracts, scam-like contracts, to be put in the game. Now this is so good. I'm personally really impressed by the responsiveness from CCP on this change. Really awesome. What's even better, as you guys know, I regularly try to sell blueprint copies. It works there as well. That is really awesome. So if I go for my contracts, I normally start on my start page. You can see that I can put up 8 more contracts. I'm planning to put these 8 contracts in there, especially the Orca is often a really good one. So I just do finding contracts now. Then I usually just go for the current station and lowest price first. That's the best. There we go for me. So you can see that the first contract here is being sold for 17.9 million ISK, but look at the stats here. It's got 9 material efficiency, 12 time efficiency, so you know that you get a 1-run copy that is researched pretty nicely actually, and all of those are going up to 12 million. Now my own BPC is only 710. It's a little bit worse than this one, but not by that much that matters too much. So if I really want to sell them right away, then for instance I could create these contracts and try to sell one for 15 million. So let's just put that up here. Next, yes, close. Can do another search. Maybe it takes a little bit of time to update. And then this one, for instance, I could try to be a bit more patient for that one and also compete with the cheapest ones. So 17, 900,000. Next finish, yes, there we go. That's usually how I do these contracts. And now here we go, you can see this is now my contract, one run, a 710. Then here we've got a 912 from someone else, from a bullshit bingo club. That has a slightly better research BPO than mine, but the percentage is so small that I don't think it matters that much. Still, if amongst here you'd have different types of runs, that's going to be a lot more efficient. For instance, for these guys here, what I do, I take my time to produce these, and so I make 5 run copies, so that only once a week I need to grab them from my research facility and then bring them to Jita. So if we would look for this in contracts, finding contracts, current station search, then we get a little bit of a different result here. 1.4 million for the lowest, the cheapest contract, but you can see it's a one run on 918. 1.9 million, still one run, and then 12 million. Here we get some 7 runs that someone else is pulling in. And so you can see 1 to a little bit above 1 million per run is actually a decent price. And before this change, it was really very annoying to recognize that. You'd either have to hope for a name, which then would not be a scam, or really you have to dive into the contract itself to find that information. This is going to help me, for instance, quite a lot, because for these structure BPCs, I do make 5 run copies. And so now I know 1 million, well, let's say 4.9, just to play it safe, to try and make sure that I'm going to get the best price per run here, because it is not very well researched. 4.9 million, really trying to undercut everyone just to move that BPC along. We could do another one here, finding contracts, current station. I wonder if there are multiple runs of these. So 4.7, that is always one run. And now let's maybe go down a little bit, see if anyone is trying to sell this for, yeah, there you go, 12 million. That's a 2-run copy. This is actually very important. Alliance that might be interested in putting up lots of right arrows to really, conquer a certain, that just conquer the part of space and really want the facilities up there, might be interested in these. And so now you know it's actually 6 million per run that we should count on. Here it's 4.7 million, so obviously undercutting this is the price you need to go for, but very, very handy. So I would, for instance, do this at 5.5 million. I only need to unload like 2 a week, so we don't have to go too big on the undercutting. And there we go. That is added there as well. Always takes a little bit of time for that to update. And this one is also a 14. And that's, well, material efficiency on these blueprints doesn't make that much sense because you don't really have an actual impact on that. But super, super nice change here for the contract system. Let's quickly finish my run then, since we're here for that anyways. Then I would do current station again to see what we're competing with. And 1.5 million no buyout, and then 2 million is the first buyout. All of these are 1 runs. So these are super cheap at the moment. I'm still going to try and sell this one. So we're going to go for 1.9 million. Let's go like that. Close. These are super cheaps, the Athenors apparently. Then let's take a look at the Astros BPCs, going for 2.7 million. Again, mostly just 1-run copies. Go down below, and we are talking 2-run copies that are trying to be sold for 20 million. That's going to be a pretty tough sale, considering it's only like 2.5 million per run at the moment. But really awesome, and this change makes, in my opinion, the market for contracts a lot more user-friendly. This is gonna save a lot of people a lot of time and effort to find the blueprint that they want. And also, it's going to prevent lots of scamming, which would be tied to like dumping lots of terrible modules, especially with the abyssal modules, at ridiculous prices, just hoping for that misclick to happen. There's almost no reason really to risk that. And so this is down to 800,000 a run. So times 5, that would be like 4 million. So we're going to try and sell this one for like 3.5. Give him a 10% cut on each run. And then for this one, the final one that I can put up, let's take a look at that. Current station, 845,000. That's a 1 run. There's not that many available. 5 runs though, 3.5 million. So that is definitely undercutting all of this. So this is my actual competition. So let's create that one and let's really try to move these. So 2.9 million. Hopefully that gets picked up quite quickly. Last thing that I'm curious about with these multiple items, do you see anything here? No. That is still a little bit unfortunate. Of course, it would be nice to maybe have the details of these individual contracts in there as well, but I think you can understand that technically that is definitely a pretty tall order to ask for. And in my opinion, it's not necessarily a bad thing. This is helping and I think bringing back a little bit the focused single product contracts here, bringing those a little bit to the forefront and maybe making them slightly easier to unload as well. So that's really a change. I did not expect it to come to TQ this soon, but absolutely welcome. A great change for people that use the contract system in the game. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.